Hey everybody, what's up? This is another episode of Enough Said with my two best buddies, Jermaine and Sal. So this is our second episode. We do our podcast every 2 weeks. We're going to talk about this week about the Eagles recap and are they tanking the season. We're also going to talk about the NFC East Week 6 predictions. And then we're going to switch over to the NBA. We're going to talk about the Sixers and why the Sixers are keeping Ben Simmons or what to do with him. And then the last thing we'll talk about just overall general about the NBA. The game has really changed over the the last decade. The 3-point is not the NBA. So I want to start off with Jermaine about the last 2 weeks with the Eagles. The recap from Kansas City after that, and also the recap with the when we played when the Eagles played Tampa Bay.
Terrible. That's why I'm going to start off at terrible. All right. Terrible, embarrassment. Every negative word that you can think of that we probably can't say on the podcast. So yeah, whoever's out there listening, leave your comments because we can't say what we can say on the podcast because this is professional level. So yeah. So those are my two words: terrible, embarrassed, pissed. I can say that. So yeah, that's where we're at.
What about you, Sal? I mean, it's a lot in there. Those short words that he just or those mentioned sentences right there is pretty much a lot that he's trying to say in one simple word. Like they suck. So,
hey, Jermaine and Andre, do you know what 77 is?
77, no.
It's a number.
77 is the number of pass plays, the percentage of pass plays that the Eagles have run compared to running. So the Eagles have passed 77% of the time. The Eagles have run 105 plays in the first half. Guess how many of them were runs? 13. That's 12%.
How many?
13 out of 105 plays in the first half have been running plays.
That's just disgusting. Seriously, it's embarrassing as a football team. Sorry, it's bad.
Hurts, 12 for 26, 115 yards, 1 touchdown. That's not getting it done against the Bucs. The Bucs had the worst defense in the league passing-wise. They were the best against the run, the worst passing defense. And Hurts only gets 115 yards. Where's Rieger? This guy's a number 1 draft pick. Jefferson's tearing it up. Goes back to Howie again. You are what you draft. Howie cannot rebuild this team. They are never going to move forward until he's out of here. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. I mean, everything that you're saying is 100% agreed. But at the same time, this season is just they're doing this on purpose. I never heard this last game. I never heard of running the ball one time for 1 yard.
Yeah,
that's my biggest thing. How do you do that? Even the worst teams in the league over the years have ran the ball. I think my thing is it's a mixture of management and the coaches to know they're clueless and don't know what the hell they're doing. And then at the same time, they're doing this on purpose to try to get draft picks. Okay, you get the draft pick, you get a high draft pick and everything, and they're still going to screw it up. So, yeah, it goes back to management. Howie's got to go. He's got to go. But at the same time, him and Jeffrey Lurie are tied at the hip. Nothing's going to happen. So the next 4 to 5 years, what I'm looking at, the next 4 to 5 years is not going to be pretty in this division or even in this conference. Let alone playoff. Forget about the Super Bowl. Let alone a playoff spot.
So, I mean, are you saying that this past off season and into the preseason, the Eagles were in trouble before they even stepped on the field, even for preseason? Or is that what you're saying? I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I mean, I just can't put it together if Nick, like we said before, is a puppet. And
The
what
Eagles
are they,
were in trouble, and the Eagles were in trouble after the 2017 Super Bowl. Okay, that's
Mhm.
when they was in trouble. And don't even go back to this off season or this season. Or the Eagles were in trouble after they won the Super Bowl. Period.
They were in trouble after they got rid of Joe Douglas. Miles Sanders averages 4.9 yards a carry. Okay, and they don't run them.
I
Eagles
know, I
only
know.
273 yards in the last 2 weeks from scrimmage. Come
It's
on.
pathetic. I
I
mean, I
mean,
sat there and watched the Tampa Bay game, and I just couldn't. It made me sick to my stomach. I keep seeing them not running the ball, being on their own goal line, in their own territory, shotgun. Okay, and then when they do get to the other side of the field, they don't even run the ball, and it's opportunities for, especially for first down. They should have ran it. And then what they do, they're in trouble for come to third down, and then they end up not getting no touchdown at all, or field goal. So, or they do go for field goal. It's just mind boggling, So, yes, I think they're tanking this season. I don't see them, and
Well,
we talked about this. I don't see them, like I told you, I don't see them winning no more than less than 5 games, honestly.
it all goes back. Whose fault is this? Is it the clueless coaching staff that they have, or is it the management? Is it the management that's got the hand in their cookie jar that won't let the coach do what he has to do, or is it or is it a combination of both? That's the question. What is it? What is it?
well, whether you're tanking or not, here's the issue. You got a quarterback who's playing in a passing offense, obviously, an offense that, let's put his name out there, Brett Favre would play in, right? An offense where you're throwing all the time. Hurts is not an accurate passer. He's a runner. He can throw the ball, but he's not going to be a high percentage of pass. He can't throw the deep ball. The offense doesn't suit his skills. So you're forcing him. You're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and it's not happening. Yes, you may be tanking, but Hurts is not the answer in this offense. Whether he's a good quarterback or not is still yet to be determined. I don't think he's the guy. I think he's a good backup. However, he's definitely not a starter in this type of offense. Not the way Sirianni's running it with passing 77% of the time.
It's
not
ridiculous. And
So, Sal, you're blaming the coaching staff.
I'm blaming Howie, but the offense is not suited for what the coach is trying to run.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
And just to leave off on that, I mean, when you look at the formation, you look at the schemes as we're fans of looking at it, to me, it's like, okay, do you not understand how to run the ball, or does Miles Sanders not know how to run the ball? Because he did a dumb move the other day. I mean, the last time game where he stayed in bounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, he went out of bounds, excuse me. And then he was supposed to stay in bounds to let the clock run down, gave too much time left, but
that goes back to coaching as far as discipline, because with that particular play that you said, Dre, yes, that was the dumbest move I haven't ever seen, but it goes back to coaching as far as discipline, because on top of that, you're leading the league in penalties, okay, and that's not going to help either. Constant offsides, constant personal fouls, constant, everything around that involves a penalty. You're not going to win games, especially when you're averaging about what? I'm assuming you're averaging about 10 to maybe 15 penalties a game. It's not going to cut it. So yes, I blame the coaching staff as far as discipline. What Miles Sanders did, it's mental, but yeah, this team is not disciplined at all. Bottom line.
yeah, yep.
And the offensive line has been a rotating door. We still don't know what happened with Lane Johnson. I still have no idea whether he's coming back, not coming back. Doesn't sound like he is. You got Mariota now, who they're moving all around, all over the place. Is he left tackle, right guard, left guard? They don't know where they're putting him. Kelsey's on his last legs. I mean, it's a perfect storm, honestly.
And we traded Zach Ertz.
But they have a tight end that they really like, who's young. But look, he didn't even play tight end all through college. So I know they like him. He's big. He's 6'7", but you got to go with Dallas Goedert at this point. And Dallas Goedert is not the best blocker. Zach Ertz wasn't the best blocker. He's a great receiver, but you're running down to that. Same thing at the running back position. Miles Sanders is not the best blocker. So what do you have? Gainwell? Well, he's a rookie. He's not the best blocker either, but he can catch better than Sanders. So it's just a lot of combination of things that's just not clicking, it seems like, with this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a shame that we keep saying so much negative things about the team that we love, the Eagles. We can't find nothing positive out of this last 5 weeks. And actually, look, we predict, we can see what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just embarrassing.
How long has this been going on? How long has this been going on? Even the Super Bowl year. How long has this been going on as far as us fans and us, diehard fans? How long has it been going on, as far as complaining? And, the fans pretty much know better than the coaching staff or even the owner. Like I said, if I had money, I would seriously go after and buy this, and buy this team. It baffles me every week that you can't come out on top as far as saying, hey, this, that and the other. Hey, they're doing this right. They're doing that right. And that's when the frustration sets in. It's just mind boggling that when I'm sitting and watching the game, all I am is pointing out the negative stuff. And I bet you guys are too. It's just mind boggling.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at looking at other good teams, that are consistent, and that's the biggest word. The biggest, most important word is consistency. Philadelphia as a whole is not consistent. They're not, and that's what's frustrating about this whole situation. Every team, they're not consistent, and it's like almost dang near. I'm just, you sit up here. You just want to give up. You give up and you want to be that bandwagon fan and saying, you know what, I'm done with Philadelphia and I'm going to a consistent basis. Now I see how people just jump to one team to jump to the other because they want to feel that sensation. They want to feel that winning sensation. We don't have that here. We don't. And it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent.
So we say we got to jump to. We got to jump to Dallas fans now? Is that what you're saying? People has told me, they's like, well, man, you're just a behind-the-scenes Dallas fan. Sometimes, I have to think about it. Am I a behind-the-scenes Dallas fan? I don't know. Well, I have no idea. It remains to be seen. That's all, especially in the next 2 to 3 years, because I'm going to tell you right now, Dallas is going to dominate this division.
Well, I tell you, I'm sorry. Say it again, Sal.
Oh no, sorry. I was going to say nobody else is going to play in the division right now. So,
this is a good way to lead off on that and move on to the next, which is actually the NFC East predictions, like we did our first podcast. Our first episode. And let's start off with the Cowboys versus the Patriots. Cowboys are visiting the Patriots. Cowboys are 4-1. Patriots are 2-3. I got a little snippet of, Belichick is saying like, hey, Dak is pretty good, but, of course he said it's still Tom Brady, and I'm not quoting him, but I remember what I was hearing. Let's start off with you, Sal. What do you see here? Do you see the Cowboys going for their 5th win?
Yeah, I do. I think the Cowboys right now are playing really well. Their offensive line is really they're just pushing the defensive line back, and, the running backs are just killing it. And, they got wide receivers. Dak is back there. There's just a lot of weapons that they have that I think is just going to be too much. And then, you got Parsons on defense now, who, is a great linebacker. So, I think it's going to be a tough one for New England to win.
Jermaine, how about you? Cowboy in disguise.
You can't. I see Dallas pulling it out. It's in New England. Correct?
Yes, it's in New England. Mm-hmm.
I can't count Belichick out. because he's that type of, he's that coach that always takes their best person on the other side on the offense, takes their best person away. But it's like almost pick your poison. So I'm curious to see what kind of game plan he's going to have today. But I never really count Bill Belichick out with this game. But I believe that Dallas is going to pull this. They'll pull this out. They're the better team, talent wise, veteran wise. New England is, young, up and coming. I'm highly on board with Mac Jones, but then at the same time, I think Dallas is going to pull it out. They're going to pull it out. It's going to be short.
Okay, so we got two Cowboys. Sal saying the Cowboys, you saying Cowboys. Now I'm kind of like just looking at the matchups. Well, I'm understanding Ezekiel Elliott does have a rib injury, correct? He is questionable for today's game. What I like, we mentioned about Hall of Fame coaches and stuff. This is what I was trying to say last week or the last episode, was that Belichick has a great test with this Matt Jones and his coaching ability going against Mike McCarthy. Will they outcoach the Cowboys' talent? Oh, that's a good one. I do see the Cowboys because their defense is really, really, really good. And will the Patriots play like a drag out type of way? So I'm not going to stay on this too long. We got a couple more to go, but I say Cowboys win too, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots can pull it out. Home field advantage too. So, all right. So let's move on to the Washington football team. Washington is home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, as we know that the Kansas City Chiefs played Philadelphia, and you know what happened with Philadelphia. They're both 2-3. The Chiefs are struggling a little bit right now, but will Washington pull it out? I'll start back with you, Jermaine.
I don't know about this game. I have no clue. I mean, it's kind of shocking to a point that Kansas City is 2-3, but then at the same time, I'm really not surprised. I'm not really 100% sold on Patrick Mahomes. I believe that he shouldn't have got all that damn money that he got. Just ridiculous, and the numbers that he's putting up the last couple of weeks is here we go with the inconsistency again, So I really don't know about this game. Washington's, their defense was supposed to be one of the number one defense coming into this year, and they're not playing up to standards. So you're playing a high-powered offense. Defense might show up. So you know what? I'm going to call this game as a 30-30 tie.
All right, Sal. Flip a coin is what you're saying.
Yeah, man. It's funny. Well, Washington has a great front seven, but their defense overall has been disappointing this year. They definitely should be playing better than they have. Is it enough to slow down the Chiefs? No.
So are you saying Chase Young hype is already over?
Yeah, I think that's going to be short-lived here.
Not even Chase Young's hype, but they got all number one picks on that line. I mean, there's no excuse for that defense to be a lot better, Sal.
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the Chiefs do pull this one out. Washington is – you talk about consistency again. They've been inconsistent, especially on defense. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. Even though Big Red, I never liked his play calling. That's another podcast. But anyway, I think it'll be good.
All right. So – And we have the Giants at home against the Rams. Now, we said in our last podcast the Giants were going to get smothered by the Saints. Well, they beat the Saints.
I thought we said move on, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. We said move on. Well, okay, enough said.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So
that's true.
We got the 4-1 Rams versus the 1-4 Giants. I'll flip back to you, Sal.
All right. Here we go. Matthew Stafford again. Oh, my God. We still talking about this guy? I mean, This guy, man. I thought he was done when he was in Detroit, man. And somehow this guy has come back with the Rams. He's got a better team, obviously, than he had in Detroit. Um, what would he do with Barry Sanders as running back? Who knows? But the bottom line is he's playing well, and I do think the Rams are going to pull this one out. I think they got a nice, solid team, and now that they got rid of Jared Goff, which I think was a great thing, I think it's they're going to be on their way.
All right. How about you, Jermaine? What are you calling this one?
Yeah, I think LA Rams is going to smoke them. One, the Giants are beat up. I don't think Daniel Jones is playing today because he was knocked senseless last week. So and then Saquon Barkley was he was out. So
he rolled his ankle.
I mean, yeah. So basically, the bottom line is I don't think they have no firepower on offense, and I think LA is really going to I think they're really going to really smoke them and really put on a show today.
Okay.
But the one guy I really want to really clue in on is Kadarius Clay, because everybody's talking about this guy with this speed and how talented he is on wide receiver. So I'm curious to see how he's going to do today, and if Jalen Ramsey is going to follow him, around and whatnot.
I was about to say that.
Pretty much. I don't know who else they have. So yeah, probably Jalen's probably going to, follow him around and everything. So yeah, I'm curious to see what Clay's going to do today. So, but at the same time, I think the Rams are going to smoke the Giants today. I don't think they have.
Yeah, I got the Rams winning too, and to kind of piggyback off what you, I think I'm seeing Ramsey might be having a 2 interception day, maybe 3. And interesting, if you look at it like this NFC East, I forgot to mention about Diggs. Diggs is having a hell of a season so far with interceptions. So I could see these two teams getting these two guys getting some good interceptions. And then I didn't say Chiefs Washington, but I'm going to say the Chiefs. And the Eagles had their game Thursday, so Eagles really is for is it the Raiders right next week for the Eagles?
Yep, going out west.
So let me just say this real fast, because we do every 2 weeks. But I'm going to give my prediction. And he's like, yeah, Eagles lost to the Raiders. I don't care about the coaching problem and all that. I don't want to get into John Gruden and all that stuff, but they lost. Okay, this is the bottom line. They lost. Sal and Jermaine, real fast, against the Raiders next week for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sal. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, you pretty much bottom line is you give up on this season. That's all.
Yeah.
Who does?
Yeah, I think traveling West Coast. I think the Eagles can't pull this one out. They've never been a good West Coast team anyway. So, I think it's another loss for them as well.
The only good thing, real fast, the only good thing is that, they got this mini bye week because they played on Thursday night. So they travel out to the West Coast. It's not like they're playing today, and then they got to travel out to the West Coast. So maybe they have a chance because, like I said, they have this little mini bye week. They can figure out how to run the damn ball and go from there. So maybe slight chance.
All right, so there you go, guys. Those are our NFC East predictions, and also we talk about the Eagles. So let's move on to actually the other sport, which is the NBA. The NBA is going to be starting soon. Off season, just to recap that, Ben Simmons is the talk last year at the end of the season that the guy just don't want to play. And we saw that last season. Philadelphia was talking about the last thing was that Ben Simmons says, I'm not going to play for this team. I'm going to sit here and not do anything. They said definite, but then things changed. Now I'm hearing that Ben Simmons is going to play for the Sixers. Me personally, I want this guy out of here. He's somebody told me when he first started playing that this is the real deal guy. And I started looking at it. I said, oh yeah, he looks good and all that. But then every year he started deteriorating. And then to the point where I think there's something mentally wrong with him. I mean, why you don't want to play is mind boggling to me. He has talent, but it seems like his mental state is overweighing his talent. So what do you do with them, Jermaine and Sal? I mean, we want to trade them. We can't. I mean, who wants them? I mean, Sal.
Let me just say this: who wants him? He's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-Defensive First Team member. He's been named to an All-NBA team in his career. He averages 14.3 points, 7.2 rebounds, 6.9 assists. He's second in rebounds with 9.2. He averages 1.5 steals a game, which is sixth. He is tied for first in blocks per game with Beverly. He averages 8 assists per game, which is fourth in the NBA. However, here's where your point comes in. He is also tied for the second highest turnover per game. That's where it goes into your mental thing, Andre, that you were just talking about. His head is not in the game, and he's a cancer in the locker room right now. A good player? Yeah, somebody who wants him and he could coach him the right way. It's not here.
I don't think it's anywhere. I mean, whoever trades for him is, good luck with that. Because like you said, and it was in my head, it's mental. It's mental. And you can see that this kid has been coddled since birth. So he has the talent, but he just doesn't want to, display it. That's the bottom line, because he just feels though, that, the whining, and woe it's me, and Joe Embiid is in the way for me being the number one guy. How the hell do you be the number one guy? You can't shoot, or you can't shoot free throws. So why would you even say something, to that fact? As far as Joe Embiid is holding me back. Just like you guys said. He's a cancer. He's going to be a cancer. I mean, the Sixers are saying all this right things. It's like, hey, we want him back. Hey, he could do this. He could do that. But behind the scenes, we all know. We all know what the deal is. When that particular guy walks in the locker room and everything, it's just like you just hold your head down. You go back to Game 7 when he gave that ball off,
yes,
and did not dunk. It's still sitting in their back of their minds. It's like, okay, how do you trust this guy?
Yep.
But at the same time, he's going to be on this team. I believe there's nobody's not going to take him. They're not going to take him. They don't want to be, they just don't want to be, they don't want to tolerate it. That's all. Bottom line.
Yeah. I was just going to say, going back to Game 7, there was a couple reports out now that he faked that. He actually was going to fake that COVID test.
Yeah.
That it was negative.
Jesus.
How bad is that? I mean, you don't want to play because, come on, this is your chance to shine, man.
Yep.
And you say another player is holding you back? Come on.
Yeah. It goes back to being mental. It's a mental thing. That's all. It is. And he needs help. With that aspect, he needs help mentally because, what Dre said, his head is not in the game. It's not
at all.
It's not in the game. And when you're paying $177 million to this guy and whatnot, no, money is taking over and everything. So,
I to add on to that, Jermaine, that's what I'm thinking about. The problem with the Philadelphia sports. I mean, you had look all the money we paid Carson Wentz, right? And after the Super Bowl year, I said it was Nick Foles. Why is he starting? People say, oh, because you paid him all this money. He's going to have to start. You can't have this guy being benched. Carson Wentz being benched and Nick Foles. Yeah, but Nick Foles is the one that carried our team, not Carson Wentz. So then now you got Ben, all this money. It's like, do you first look at what this guy can do, or what I'm trying to say is you paid him already, and you don't even know what the really of the long term is with this guy, and we pay way too much money, and we're stuck with it. So it goes back to the Philadelphia, like you said, the Philadelphia. It's got to change up in management too. You got to, you get these players that just suck. I'm sorry, just suck, and you got all this money.
Yeah, it's the over evaluation of talent. Philadelphia has a history. It goes back to what Jermaine said about the culture, right? They put these guys on such high pedestals, but none of them are elite players. I'll even go to the Flyers, Claude Giroux. All right. They paid him a ton of money because they thought he was an elite player. He's good. He is not an elite player. Joel Embiid, I do not think he's an elite player. I'm sorry. He's very good. But is he number one in the league? No. He's a good player. But It's overvaluation.
Yeah. Go back to what you said, Sal. Joe Embiid is a good player. He is. He's a good. I think he's an excellent player, but he just can't stay healthy. That's the thing.
Yep.
So whatever they paid him, I'm glad. I think it's for what, the next 3 years.
Yeah,
As far as
it
their
is.
extension, you after the 3 years, don't give him another extension because that's it. Because one, he's got his body. I mean, he did a lot better this year. He did better this year, but at the same time, his body. I think his body's going to start deteriorating. After the second year, if you don't get nothing out of him, a championship or whatever, after these 3 years,
Yeah.
you're back to rebuilding.
Yep. Well, that's interesting. So we'll see what happens when the season starts, and how Ben Simmons actually affects the team. One last thing I want to talk about, which is still in the NBA, and I want to get you guys' thought. I was thinking about this. The NBA, to me, has changed to the point where it's not a team type game anymore. And I have to go back and say, yes, Stephen Curry is a great player. Of course, he is a great player, Hall of Famer. Made the 3-point so spectacular to the point where I think we're blinded by this 3-point all kind of stuff. And now teams have to adjust and adapt to the way he plays because you can't stop him, right? So to me, what I've seen over the last 10 years, that it's all about the 3-point. It's not about, tackling it with 5 guys on the floor, doing up the pass to get more points. It's just pass it over to him, shoot 3-pointer, and shoot 35 times, and you're trying to catch up. So anyway, I just don't see. I lost really interest in the NBA because to me it's like it's boring and pointless. Yeah, it was fun at first to see Stephon make 7, 8, 3-pointers or whatever in one game, but the coaching is at fault too. So Sal, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you see that, or I'm just seeing something else that differently than what you see?
No, I see 3 things. The one is definitely with the 3-pointers. There are 15 teams now who shoot 3-pointers more than 40% of the time. 20 years ago, Dre, only 17% of the shots were threes. Right? So yes, no question, more 3-pointers a game now. Second, too many fouls. It drives me nuts. The 2019-20 season, 60% increase in foul outs. Okay. Before that, for 2018-2019, there was a 40% increase in foul outs. Okay. It's ridiculous. Way too many fouls. It's slowing down the game. It's making it boring. And then last but not least, small ball, right? A lot of passes, teams that are going smaller. Going back to the 2014-2015 Golden State Warriors, right? We were just talking about them a minute ago. They're the first team in 40 years that won a championship without a player over 6'8". Because why? Because they just passed the ball and they shot it. Threes.
Right.
So they just pass the ball around the perimeter and they shoot. That's the way the game's going. I mean, the days of somebody like Shaq underneath the rim are no longer here. It's changed.
Yeah.
Jermaine? It's the era. But let's want to commend Mr. Sal here with the stats. It's like, okay, you're blowing me, man. You're blowing me. Loving it, man. Loving it. It's like, whoa, all right, man. All right.
Let me go sharpen up my pencil.
I know, man. Do I have to go verify that on Google, what you just said, or what?
I can tell you who it's from, man. I got my sources.
Yeah,
I know people.
You're in the zone, bro. You're in the zone.
Thanks, man.
It's the era. What you have as far as players coming out of college and all that stuff, the big man is gone. Like you said, Sal, Shaq, I don't think you'll never see a Shaq again. It's all the Kobe's, it's all the Steph, it's all the Steph Curry's, it's all the Dillards, you know what I mean? It's all those guys that are coming out there, and what you're looking in college is what they're bringing into the NBA. And what right now is like, our era is all about the big man, or our era is all about half court sets and, pounding the ball, or, you know what I mean? Some real hard fouls to say you're not bringing that stuff in here anymore, So, but now it's just at the end. I believe the NBA is thriving, is thriving off of Steph Curry and all those guys shooting from half court, and they're making them, and it's just amazing.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, I'm not saying it's not.
yeah, it's just crazy. I blame it. Like I said, the era that we grew up in, you'll never see again. There will never be a Shaq. You know what I mean? There'll never be a Kareem. There'll never be a Hakeem, Olajuwon. There'll never be those guys that, you know what I mean, that just bully around or just have the skills of a big man, throwing it down and whatnot. I just don't, you're just not going to see it anymore. I mean, you look at the big men now. Look at Joe Embiid. I mean, Shaq ain't shooting a three. You know what I mean? Joe Embiid, the guy from Denver, these guys are big guys and they're just stepping out. And it's like, you know what? If these little guys could do it, we could do it too. So, yeah, that's the way I see it. I mean,
well, I guess that. Yeah, I guess to summarize it up, is it the coaching? To me, it's like, the coaching is the one I could tell you go shoot that 3-pointer, or is it the coaches that he or she can only do what they can, what they have? So you're saying there's no more big man, no more big power forward. So is it the coaching guys? Just real quick to close it up.
I don't. Go ahead, Jermaine. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's the coaching. I just think it's everybody's just adapting, and this is what it is. That's the way I see it. It could be, but I mean, what are you going to do, when you got, your big men are so, not into, but just shooting three. I mean, they're so versatile. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. They're so versatile. The whole team is versatile. I mean, shoot. I mean, even the big man can even bring the ball up. You know what I mean? Remember, there used to be just the point guards, and then you had the point forwards just bringing the ball. Now you see sometimes from time to time the big man is bringing the ball up. It's just adapts.
Well, if you go back in the day, Matty Johnson was 6'5", being a point guard. I mean,
yeah.
So
did it go back to Michael Jordan, right? Because if you go back to him, you had Scottie Pippen and you had Dennis Rodman. They didn't really have a big man either. Rodman played big because he got a lot of rebounds. But Scottie Pippen wasn't huge. Jordan wasn't huge. I mean, they weren't small, and they didn't dunk a lot. I mean, yeah, Jordan had his fantastic dunks. I get it. But he shot a lot too, and he was just accurate.
But the Chicago Bulls had a perfect they had players for their position. The Scottie Pippen, Paxton was your 3-pointer. You had Jordan, who was, Jordan. So they had the right pieces to be there. That's why you didn't have to see Scottie sitting out there hitting a 3-pointer, because you had John Paxton. They had the perfect pieces. Maybe that's what's missing. There's no many filling in these power forward spots and small forward and 2 guard. Everybody's shooting at 3.
Nobody beats the Bulls, baby.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys. So I want to just mention to our listeners that we have a email address. You can send your comments to us at enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. And please give us your feedback. We always love feedback from you. And we're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. We're on iHeartRadio. And we'll be on iTunes as well for the iPodcast. So check us out. And please put in your comments and stuff, and see what you guys feel about us. So Sal and Jermaine, as always, man, this is awesome. I'm looking forward to the next podcast. So just want to wrap it up.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been good. And be back in a couple weeks. Rocking and rolling.
Yep. All right. Take it easy, guys.
All right, guys. Later.